So let's continue talking about Seisang. I'm now actually having my lunch break. I will have fish and chips, and while I'm eating, we will continue to talk about Seisang. Seisang really loves China, so he didn't have a stable job when he was in Japan, and all he was doing was just some part timing. Sometimes he would be a cleaner, and sometimes he would work in a factory. But whenever he got enough money saved for a trip, he will come to China. And he is also a very hard-working person as well. I remember he always carried a Chinese Mandarin textbook with him. It was not a big book, but maybe a handful size of the book. He carries it all the time. There was one day I was going to the toilet. Apparently, Seisang just finished taking a shower, but he left his textbook in the toilet. And I saw the textbook. It was all white because he was taking a shower, and the pages are all curled, turned yellow. So he has been even reading textbook when he was taking a shower. So you can see how much of a hardworking person Seisang was. So Seisang, he was also a very precise person, sometimes very stubborn. When he finished his rental contract, he flew back to Japan. But the last day, I think his contract finished today, but his flight to Japan was tomorrow. So he got to stay one more night in his apartment. But he didn't want to stay in his own room because his contract expired. Even though the landlord was not there, I don't see the landlord very often. But Seisang didn't want to break the contract. So he knocked my door and said, "Hey, Wusang, can I stay in your room? Maybe I can stay, I'll sleep on the floor for tonight in your room." I was like, "Why, Seisang? You still got your room." And the landlord was not there. My room is just 10 square meters. You don't have to sleep on the floor. So I refused to let him stay in my room. And I told him it's okay. You can go back to your room. Just stay one extra night. You don't even have to tell the landlord. I'm not gonna tell the landlord. Nobody gonna tell the landlord. He's not gonna know. Shui-san was like, "Oh, okay, okay. Wu-san, see you." I thought this was over. And when it comes to the next morning, it was probably around 5 or 6 in the morning, early in the morning. I heard someone knocking the door. I was like, who's knocking the door so early? It's only like early morning. And then I opened the door because I'm leaving the kitchen. I'm close to the main door. So I was the one opening the door. Open the door. That was Seisang. I asked, "Oh, Seisang, what did you do? Why did you what did you do so early in the morning? You just came back from somewhere or what? And Seisang said, yes, Wusang, I actually slept in the airport of Shanghai last night. So Seisang slept in the airport because he didn't want to break the contract. He didn't want to break his rental contract. That's why he slept in the airport. I was like, oh, I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed by his precise, by his stubbornness, maybe. But he's absolutely following the rules. So after Seisang went back to Japan, we still keep in we still keep in touch from time to time. And he went back to some other basic jobs again, as a cleaner. He was also picking up rubbish on the Fuji mountain, and he also worked in a glass factory. And I left Shanghai after about a year, back to Harbin for 1 year, and then I felt I still didn't like it. So I went to Beijing. I went to Beijing with no money again. So same me, same poor guy, went to Beijing. And when I came to Beijing, guess who came to visit me? Seisang. Seisang visited me when I was in Beijing. It was 2014 when Seisang came to Beijing. I I took him to my company. At that time, I was working for a cultural exchange company, and we have a small office. So Seisang came to my office, and he saw me working in the office. He was very amazed. Apparently, he has never have any friend worked in an office setting. I remember he took selfies and pictures about my office, and it was quite funny. So Seisang and I went to the restaurant. We had a couple of beers, some some great food, and we were talking about the time when we were in Shanghai, the place, the road of Shanghai, and the food tasting experience, all the sightseeing, all the bus taking, the bus journey, all that kind of Shanghai memories. It was great, and he knows that I'm a still very poor person. So after the dinner, he actually gives he actually gave me all his cash from his pocket. I didn't want to take it, but yeah, I need some money actually. That was about probably 60, 70 US dollars, I think. Yeah, yeah. So I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And then time goes on. I was still in Beijing, and I was doing better financially, so I got a better job, a better paid job, and I was working in a marketing company as a marketing specialist. So the pay was okay, and when it comes to, I think it was 2018, probably 4 years later, I got a message from Seisang. So he was coming to Beijing again. I was really excited. I haven't met him for the previous 4 years, and yeah, he came to Beijing, and I showed him around again. I took him to a barbecue restaurant, and we ordered a lot of things. My wife was there as well, and we ordered some beers, of course, and we were, of course, talking about our memories in Shanghai again after 4 years. So after dinner, I paid the bill, but Seisang didn't want me to pay. He still want to pay the bills, but of course, I'm not going to let him treat me this time. So I insisted. I paid the bill, and while we were walking his bus station, Seisang turned around and stopped. I didn't know what he was doing, and then I go back, and you know what Seisang was doing? He was actually taking out his money from his anywhere. Apparently, he has got an anywhere with a pocket, and he got all his money inside the pocket of the underwear. So he was releasing his belt and taking out his his money from the underwear. And when he took out, it was like really thick amount of money. It was like probably like, I would say, 300 US dollars maybe. Yeah, it was a lot of money in RMB, and he gave it to me. I was like, "Seisang, what's this for?" He said, "This is for you, Wusang, because I feel like I've bothered you so much. You treat me for dinner." I was like, oh, "That's okay, Seisang. It's just a dinner, and you came all the way from Japan. Of course, I'm going to treat you." But he insists to give me the money, like last time, back in 4 years, like last time 4 years ago. Of course, I was not going to. I didn't take the money. So this incident has become a joke between my wife and I. When my wife talk about Seisang, she always remembers Seisang has money in his underwear. And then when it comes to 2019, yeah, so Seisang could not come back to China because of COVID, and I haven't seen Seisang since then. But we still send messages sometimes. Yeah, it's just yeah, a friendship with between a Chinese guy and a Japanese guy. Hmm. I think we're still good friends. We're still very good friends. I'm looking forward to meet Seisong again, and hopefully he can come to China again when I'm there, or he can come visit my country, or I can come to Japan sometime. Okay, that's all the video today. Thanks for watching.